hear about Little League. I haven't had real success in connecting with Little League. I connected with them, but didn't go a lot farther than that.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open this meeting for Veterans Memorial Park Commission. So we're going to call this to order. And excuse me? Yes, that's what we'll do next. So we're going to do Pledge Allegiance. If you can lead us.
Sure. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this is the time for public comment.
We have roll call.
So yes, can we do roll call?
Commissioner Spandry,
Present.
Commissioner Zanger,
Here.
Commissioner Duffy, and Commissioner Sotelo.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. So we'll have public comment. This is the opportunity for public to address the commission on items not of interest, not appearing on the agenda, or not scheduled for a public hearing. No action may be taken unless provided by GC 56954. Each speaker is limited to, we said 3 minutes, not 5. Yes. Any public speakers?
May I read the guidelines?
Yes, please.
The San Benito County Veterans Park Commission welcomes your comments. Each individual speaker will be limited to a presentation total of 3 minutes. When addressing the commission via Zoom, phone, or in chambers, please state your name and the county in which you reside for the record. Please address the commission as a whole through the chair. If participating via Zoom, select the Participants tab and click the Raise Hand icon. If you're using a phone, please press *9 to raise your hand. When your turn arrives, you will hear that you have been unmuted. If you are participating in person at the chambers, please complete a speaker card identifying the item on which you wish to speak and provide your completed card to the clerk prior to consideration of the item. Speaker cards are available on the table at the entrance to the chambers. There is no public comment at this time.
Thank you. So what time do we do the certificate of posting? We already did. It's in the consent, okay. We'll do the consent. I need a motion to approve the consent.
So I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion pass. 3. Okay. So the first item is there's two action items, discussion action items. And that will be Mr. Lu.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. Looks like we have some representatives both in the chambers as well as online. And so I suggest we hear from the leagues that are in chambers. And I think there was a couple gentlemen here. And you can please make your way over to the microphone over there and just provide us, please, updates on how the leagues are going and general calendars for the summer. And that'd be great. We just want to kind of get an update from you on how things are going. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. It's up to you, your choice.
His support system.
Yeah, together is fine. All right, I'll get
Yeah. My name is Sean Penzo. Reside in San Benito County. I'm the Vice President of San Benito Babe Ruth.
And I am Jared Penzo, equipment and equipment director for San Benito Babe Ruth. So our general report essentially is our enrollment this last year. We had 2 seasons. Every season we have a spring season and a summer league. Our spring season, if I remember correctly, we had 6 teams. We had 6 teams with about 11 kids, 12 kids apiece, and we had really good participation. Everybody had seemed to be doing a fantastic job, and everybody enjoyed it from what we were told. Our summer season, I know that we had fewer numbers. I believe we finished with 5 teams, and we just sent a team to All-Stars this last weekend. They're playing right now, actually. They won their game today, and they're playing an elimination game, so we'll get an update here hopefully soon. I remember correctly, we had 5 teams, same thing, 11, 12 kids a team, which is really good. We're getting our numbers back up to where we used to be pre-COVID, which is really nice. And if everything continues to trend in the correct direction, participation will go up. By having more participation, we'll also have more coaches because more parents will be involved, which is fantastic. I know a lot of the new people that are moving to San Benito County don't know about us, so we're doing our best to get our name out there. That way there is a revenue and there is an avenue for kids to spend their summers and their springs with us and have some fun. Because we also have a fall ball season coming up too in, I believe, late September.
It'll run through October.
Yeah, September through October. So I know we have that coming up. I know we just finished our Bambino season as well. I unfortunately wasn't able to make it out, but from what Adam had told me, that it was a success and they had a great time. And I believe they also do a fall season, Maria? Do you know?
They do.
Okay, so we also have Bambinos, which is fantastic. They'll also be doing their fall season, which is great. And then as far as any vandalism at our field, we've been real fortunate recently. We haven't had anybody coming and tagging up our dugouts as of late, but I do know it does happen. And it's pretty obvious too, because they'll come up and they'll tag up the back of the dugout really bad. They've also tagged up our grandstands. I know that one of the signs out in left field has looks from far away, looks like smiley faces all over it, but when you get closer, it's not really smiley faces. That's the only tagging I know that's been happened on the field. The rest of it's usually just around the grandstands and on the dugouts. And then, I have, I know that one of the questions you guys had for us was with insurance for the county. From what we were told from our president, Greg, is that we are covered and we do have you guys listed, also have you guys listed as well on our insurance. And this was since February, and we were told that it was with Yvette Nunez. And you guys also have a list of our current board members as well.
Okay, thank you. And for that, my concern always was that one entry going in off the street, that tunnel. How is the tunnel doing? Because sometimes homeless are there, and so that was always a concern that we never really.
From what I'm being told and from what I've seen, nobody really uses that tunnel anymore. I know it's been abandoned. I know it's a nice little relic to have because it's been there for so long, and I know kids used to like to go through it. I do know in the rainy season it does flood for a fact, and it does get really, really bad.
Yeah, the water accumulates in the tunnel to the point that nobody can truly pass through. However, I used the tunnel not too long ago. I parked my truck outside the berm there and used the tunnel to come in. The tunnel's clean. It does not smell. There is no tagging in the tunnel. So the tunnel's been relatively in good shape. So
Okay.
There have been in years past where you'll just see evidence of homeless people being in the tunnel, but it has not been a problem whatsoever lately. And there was an issue earlier this year that the sheriffs were called out because somebody decided to move in there, and we were on that quick. I mean, it was a matter of a day or two at the most. He was there, sheriff responded, situation was under control in no time, and no evidence of anything like that since. So, yeah.
And how did the carnival go for you? Did it interrupt your season, or how did that go for you?
We had those days off, planned days off because of because of activities that were happening in the local schools for our grade 7, 8, 9 is primarily who we cater to in the league. And they had graduations and Great America trips and things. So schedule-wise, we actually took those days and put them as off days. So nothing on our, no activities on Babe Ruth were happening during the time of the carnival. So uneventful to us.
Very good. And no vandalism during that time?
Nothing that I know of.
Okay.
One general question I do have, is there any way that we can get a second entryway or exit way out our field, hopefully on like the Hillcrest side? Because there is a gate that's not being used. It'd be fantastic if we have another exit point, just because even though we're not as bad as Little League and Hollister Heat with their entry exit point, it would be nice to have ourselves like kind of go pull through. That way we don't have to even worry about getting cluttered up. And I know that a lot of families park down on our hill, which is fine. We don't have an issue with it, but it'd be nice not to have to worry about somebody pulling in and having to deal with families walking back and forth across our driveway. That would be a perfect scenario.
Okay.
So Steve Lou, Public Works, I'll address that comment request. We can look at it. We're just starting the final design for the main parking lot, and they are getting a second entrance, as you mentioned, and we haven't planned for one on Hillcrest. So we'll look at it with the designers, because we are just finalizing the design and see what we can do, and I guess the answer is maybe at this point, but we'll consider it. So,
Because there is a gate there already.
right, there's already a
It
gate
just
there.
needs to be opened.
Right.
Yeah, it's
But
there
is there a
already.
driveway cut with that gate?
It's dirt.
It's just
Dirt.
it's just dirt. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they used to have parking a lot. Well, let me rephrase that. There wasn't parking. People used to park there, and it was never accessible because there was always cars along that line. But I do know ever since they've installed the no parking signs, it is relatively open. And I wouldn't imagine it being a headache, but I don't ever want to say somebody else's job isn't a headache because I'm not the one doing it. So
is the request just to open the gate that's there?
yes, that'd be,
Simply just
Yeah,
open the
That's
gate
that
there.
great. Okay, well, we'll definitely consider that. That seems reasonable. So.
Because that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Because now that I think at the time, we were considering it before, because the reason why we couldn't do it was because there was parking there, and when you were turning out of it, either way, you couldn't see around the cars. But now that the cars are not there, that would be a perfect opportunity now for us to open the gate.
Yeah, I concur.
And would that be a permanent open like the front, or would that be closed? Would that something that you'd want open and closed, or is that, because then you open it up
we're
to
opening
more?
up to people just being able to drive in there. It's
It's like open just during games.
open probably just during games more than likely.
And then we could be responsible for the gate being open when the field is in use. And then the last person leaves, lock the door.
That would be the as long as it takes county staffing, yeah.
Yeah, keys to the Babe Ruth staff here would probably be the most appropriate way to manage the gate. So
Yeah,
seems reasonable. So
awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so is Hollister Heat online?
They are not.
Okay. Okay, thank you. No. Okay, so I guess you're up.
all right, Steve Luke, Public Works Administrator. Good evening, commissioners. And so we'll talk through the remaining items on the agenda together here. So item 2B is to discuss status of upgrades to the bathroom and the proposed striping and lighting improvements. So first we'll talk about the bathroom upgrades, which are essentially adding ADA compliant infrastructure, I'll say, plumbing, some new doors, and current status of the project. It's a bathroom that's located near a skateboard park, and the budget that was allocated is $350,000. It's ARPA funds. We will spend $30K on soft costs, $250K on hard costs, to a total of $280,000. So we just do still have a remaining budget of $70,000. That there's lots of different ways we can spend that, but good news is we're coming in under budget. Bad news is we were told by the contractor that they'd actually be out there about a month ago. And when the time came for them to be out on site, they notified us that their subcontractors were stuck on another job, unfortunately. So the schedule has changed to be September, first week of September, until worst cases goes till the middle of November. I'm not sure it's going to take quite 2 months, but that's the schedule that they gave us for the installation of the bathrooms. So I will pause there for questions on the bathrooms and then jump over to the striping. Well, I guess I'll go through both, and then we can have questions on everything, because it's not a lot of information. So parking lot upgrades. We are in the final design for that project, as I just mentioned. And essentially that's restriping the entire parking lot. The technically the north side of the parking lot will pretty much remain very similar, with new asphalt surfacing and new striping and new lighting. The south right side of the parking lot will actually follow a similar pattern as exists on the north side today. And so they'll essentially be 3 loop, well, technically there's 4 loop sections now. And so it should be very intuitive for vehicles to utilize the parking lot. The area near the bathroom where we're remodeling and up near the current playground area, that area will be essentially reserved for picnic tables and food trucks. And there'll be some bollards for folks to enter and exit, and some white delineators kind of separating that area. So that area will just be purely for pedestrians and folks to that aren't in their vehicles to have some place to be. And so a couple of the details on that project. So soft costs moving forward are about $100,000. And then the current engineering cost estimate, which we're still gonna have to get an updated estimate based on the final design, is $640,000. So that's a budget we have in our capital improvement project budget that was approved by the Board of Supervisors technically today, but at the last meeting, but I think it goes in effect today, is $740,000. Understanding that there is fall ball in like September, October, and we can pause if we want to pause construction, although we can talk about that when we get to the final design. But if lights are available to be installed, and what that means is we're still trying to figure out the final design for the lights so that we're not going to break any lighting ordinances and lighting pollution and those type of things. And when we purchase the lights, they're available to be installed starting, in September, October. Then we could complete construction by November 1st. Now, there is a gap from what I can tell, and we can talk to Babe Ruth afterwards. I'm pretty sure there's a gap from fall ball out till I think it's March 1st, which would be, I guess, November through March. Pending weather, we could just wait till then, because then there'll be nobody there. But we can also start construction sooner. It might take some coordination with the fall ball folks. So we'll just have to have that discussion here now and as we move forward, as soon as we get to final design. Depending on when we order the lights, if the lights aren't available till, say, November anyways, that might make the decision for us. But that's the status on those two items. So I'll pause for public comment and commissioner comment.
So I think we need to move forward. I think if anybody really had a vested interest in here, they'd be here. And so we need to move forward because we've delayed this long enough. So, I mean, we asked for everybody to show up, and these are the only ones that showed up. So, but we need to move forward because I'm afraid of losing, not that you all would take money away from us, but I don't want to lose any money and I want to move forward. And we've done this long enough. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then also if we close down, because you said the bathroom renovations, we're going to put porta potties out there for.
We are.
Okay.
And an ADA compliant porta potty. Two standard porta potties and one ADA compliant porta potty.
Okay.
For the bathroom remodeling.
So, I mean, I think we should just be moving forward. So as soon as we can get things in place, go. So what do you think? I mean, you're the one who uses it all the time, Ms. Sotelo.
Well, I think Supervisor Zanger, you had a question?
No, he had a question.
Yeah, I was going to,
Well, let's hear from public comment, if there is any public comment, and then I'll make my remarks.
Sean Penzo again. My comment on the Babe Ruth side is that we have no trouble with you guys doing this at any time, being that the fact that our access is on the north side of the facility and we do have easy access in. And now we're also going to have a key we'll have 2 doors to come in. So if they needed to stage or do anything over there, we can definitely work with them to help them as well on our side. It might be easier to do that. So, but being on the men's softball side and co-ed softball side, we do use the softball fields for veteran, the large field one, and not knowing the true scope of work and how much are they going to take out the whole parking lot at once? Is there going to be anywhere for these people to park in there while we're, playing at the field? That could be kind of troublesome to the people that need to get in there. However, I know that I understand your point of view that the let's get it done. The money's there now. We don't want any cost increases later on, which could be a potential thing. But once we're done with our program, the last week of October, softball's done in early October. That place is a ghost town. So I don't know how long the funding is there, but you guys, I'm thinking you guys would have that field. I mean, you'd have that parking lot full access with no problems with people coming in and out of there during those months of truly October, November, December, January, into February. We don't plan on starting again, which is our normal operations for Spring League is middle February to March before we play our first games. So.
And see, my only concern is that we have our climate is so volatile. From January to March, it's so unpredictable, and flooding. I mean, it's so unpredictable. So if we wait any longer, it's going to be another year before we'll be able to get to it. And if they're having to do paving, I'm just worried that we're not going to have. It just seems like we have a window right now and we should just move forward. And it's inconvenient, it is, but we've been trying to get this done for 4 years. So, I mean, this is just, it's been a long time.
Well, we'd be happy to open up the Babe Ruth side parking as well, too, as long as there's obviously a way that we could walk to get to that side of the field if they leave an area blocked off to obviously safely walk to get to that field. I mean, that's going to be open.
Yeah, so there's going to be bollards, or there's going to be some sort of where the ramp goes up to where the Hollister Little League is.
Yes. That's
going to be blocked off. So, but there's going to still be a walkway. So people can still park over where you are and then come this way. So it'd be perfect. Like I said, the longer we wait, the more expensive it's going to get. And then it's going to get, things change all the time. And so I just worry that we're looking like we're not effective and we're not being able to get anything done.
Okay, well, just know that Samuel Babe Ruth is on board and they can
Thank you.
park in our area, and we'll just make sure that we stay off to one side on the nights that we're doing our activities, and we'll make sure that the parents know that this parking on this side would be remaining for other activities,
Thank
be
you.
it soccer or softball or whatever.
Okay,
So-
thank you. I appreciate it. And then the one last thing is that, did we get any further on the food vendor list? Did anybody contact City of Hollister to find out where we can make have some sort of coexisting policy? Did we do that?
Separate item, but no, I don't think we've made much progress on the food truck vendor task, I guess you'd say. So, yeah. But and if I could just answer a couple quick questions on the previous items, glad that Babe Ruth's on board, and yeah, we will have the small parking area by Babe Ruth, and sounds like they're flexible enough to allow the parking lot to be closed for a short amount of time to pave it, which would be great. And as far as the funding goes, once we have a contract signed by December 31st, the ARPA money is good. It's allocated. So as long as we're under contract, so it won't be taken away. But nevertheless, I think it's a great idea if we just move forward. And so,
Yes, please.
Steve, how long is the construction expected for the parking lot?
so I've also been told, similar to the bathrooms, about 2 months.
Okay, wow. So I would say let's start moving forward and don't delay. I say that with there has not been a single thing I think I've ever seen while I've been sitting here that's been early or on time. So knowing that, like, let's start moving forward so that hopefully maybe by November 1st we can get started, or October 15th or whatever. And then I think once we're ready to get started, then we can really work with these leagues and teams and kind of try to find kind of a solution in the interim. But I think we should definitely do everything we can to keep moving forward. And then as we need to make little tweaks, we can possibly do that. But I don't want to, I agree with Maria. I don't want to delay this anymore. I think I would love for it to be done by spring. And I'm afraid we go too far into fall, early winter. And then we're going to be like, well, now we have to wait until it dries out. And the spring league is just huge for all of this, leagues. And so then I'm afraid it's going to be like, well, then let's hold off and let's do it next summer. And then we'll be back to fall again. And so let's just start moving forward, and let's just really hope that we can get it done. We can start in mid-October.
Sounds good.
Most definitely.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, full steam ahead. I didn't even know we were going to consider slowing down. I'm
I know.
all on board. Just get it done.
Just get it done.
So we don't have the lights yet.
We don't, because we still have to talk to the team about getting the right kind of lighting, and that's not going to cause light pollution, or I forgot the name of, there's a San Benito County Pinnacles light. Anyways,
Dark skies.
Dark skies. Thank you, Supervisor Zanger. Dark skies. Yes. So we haven't chosen the lights yet, but we're looking at if once we choose them to just order them and not wait for the contractor to have to order them. So once we get the final lighting design, I mean, it's close. It's 80. Well, we don't have the final design yet. So once we have the final design, we think we meet the dark skies ordinance, then we'll just order them. So.
And is that why, like, the soft cost that we call it is more, like, it seems a little on the higher side than it probably would normally be with a project? I mean, normally I think we're in the 10% range for kind of more of the soft costs, and this is definitely more.
Yeah.
Is that why? Because this is kind of a specialty thing?
Well, the lighting still would fall into the construction cost estimate. I'm not sure we're going to actually spend, like, the current design budget is $92,000, I think, total. I don't foresee us spending that, but that is the soft cost budget. So the lighting will actually come under the $640,000, just FYI. But yeah,
Okay.
so.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you very much. I don't have any more questions.
Is there any way we can get a specific date when we can give when we can find, like, we're moving for approval of the final draft of the Is there any way to get a date that we can say we're gonna move forward?
Are we talking about the parking lot?
No, a date for the, no, a date for just the design, the land, the
I
design.
think the design is here, right?
But
Well,
he
that- yeah,
says
that-
he's not
True, but
finalized.
so I still have to meet with the designers to get the final designs finished. I mean, I think I'll email everybody when I know what the date is, but
Can we kind of push them to get it done? Because we've been doing this for such a long time. I mean, if we don't have I know for me, for my job, if you tell me I have to have something done by this time, I'm going to get it done. And so we've been kind of pushing through for years on the lighting, and we've been kind of pushing through, and we've been back burner before you. I'm not saying you. You're busy on every aspect. I'm not saying anything. But if we could just get a date of this is our deadline, we have to have everything done by this day. Is there any possible way to get that done?
sure.
I'm so sorry because it seems it's frustrating because I really feel like I'm doing a disservice to all of these groups because I've been on this commission for over 5 years and I've not done anything. I haven't proven that we've been able to be effective, and I want to give them hope that we're helping you. We're trying to do the best we can, but we haven't been effective. So I'm. You know, every time I see them, I'm like, okay, yes, we haven't done anything. Yes, we haven't. I mean, it's kind of like a walk of shame every time. I don't want to go over there because it's a walk of shame because we haven't done anything for them. And so we haven't done anything for the community. Bottom line, we haven't done anything for the community. And I want them to know we are doing something. And this is the date we're going to be finalized and we're going to move forward. Is there a possibility?
Well, I will, well, of course, as soon as I know a date, I will send it to the three of you, no problem. And then you can give them the date on the restrooms. And then as far as funding, we just got this funds a couple of years ago and we decided we'd build it this summer. So maybe there was other lighting discussed before years ago, but anyways.
There's been lighting discussions since I've been on this
Okay,
commission.
I believe you.
yeah.
So, but
I'm sure when Mr. St. John was here, there was been lighting discussions 20 years ago.
okay, I believe you. So, yeah, as soon as I have the date, I will give it to the three of you, so then you'll have the date of when the plans will be done. And then they have to go out to bid unless we can get, well, anyways, I'll give you dates as soon as I have dates. How about that? So,
And just because I don't know, how long does a bidding process take? Do you have a specific time frame when you have to tell them we're going to give 3 weeks for bidding? Is that what you do?
the minimum bid package goes out for 3 weeks. But what we're going to try to do is when we have our on-call contractors through a program called job order contracting, once those folks are selected, hopefully in September, if one of those folks can do this kind of improvement, then believe it or not, that saves us about a month or more of going through that whole 3 week process. So there's two routes for the contractors. But to answer your question, once a normal bid package goes out, the minimum that's got is for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I appreciate everything you do. I can't usually face them because they're like, what's going on? I'm like, it's hard for me to face them because we're not effective right now. So
I'm glad that this park has been allocated some funding because it's overdue. Yes, I concur.
thank you.
And I'll just agree with Maria on a few things, not everything. I'm not going to say we don't do anything for the community because I do think that the county is doing a lot
Oh,
for
we
the
do.
community
But for
all the
this
time.
park, you're right. 100%.
But I just want to make sure that
Yes, most
but I do
definitely.
agree with the sentiment about like more information to us to communicate with the leagues is really, really helpful because I was asked at the last Vets Commission meeting to go back to the leagues and say, hey, this is, these bathroom remodels are happening. We're going to do this repaving and striping and lighting. And I got them all excited and told them, yeah, we're starting construction like the first part of May. And here we are, the first part of July.
Yes.
And so I understand exactly what you're saying because I feel like we're kind of the boots on the ground going out there and doing this dirty work, right? And then it's like our timeline's just way off. And so I guess as we get little updates, I know you're swamped and crazy busy,
Right.
but even if it's just a one-liner, like, whatever, September 15th, I don't know, whatever it is, bathroom or parking lot, whatever. I think it helps us because we're trying to do the best job that we can, talking with the leagues and making sure that everybody's kind of on the same page and that we're all kind of working together. And so I think we all want to help with the situation. And so if there's anything that we can do to kind of help and get information out. I think that's kind of what we want to do. But sometimes they're looking at us and it's like, yeah, you told me, and see, it's still not here. And it's like, no, but we really are trying. It really is happening. And so I know what you mean. Sometimes I'm like, oh, look the other way, because it's, you go out there and you say these things, and then all of a sudden it's like, but it hasn't happened yet. So any type of update is so greatly appreciated.
And I think that's, unfortunately, I think that's why we have very little participation, people coming to the meetings, because they're feeling like, well, you said you were going to do something and you're not doing anything. And obviously you're not doing anything. So why should I go to a meeting? I mean, it's just to build our reputation and build our relationship together, to put the trust in us that we're trying to do our due diligence. And they're like, well, we haven't seen anything. So, and that's just what I hear. I know from the county perspective, we do a lot. I know. I'm so excited about the 150th activities. It's going to be very cool. But from right now where they sit, they're saying, you haven't done anything. And
I will say that I would really appreciate their participation. You know, I mean, everybody's quick to complain, but yet I've been sitting on this commission for about a year and a half, both you and I. This is the first league to show up in a year and a half. And so when you sit there and you complain all the time, but then you're not willing to be a part of the process, it's really kind of difficult. We're trying to kind of juggle everything. And there's so many different projects, so many different things, such limited funding that Vets Park is very near and dear to all of our hearts that are sitting up here and everybody that's here. And I think we all want to do so much more, but there are, it would be great to get the league's participation.
Right.
And I think we all kind of get a little frustrated with that from time to time. And so, and I don't even know if it's possible to I don't know, could we somehow open this meeting up to where it's like we could have the leagues up here with us too, where there's more of a conversation. And I know I'm just really kind of going out on a limb right now, but where people feel like it matters if I go, I have a voice in this. I think people sometimes feel like I don't have a voice, so why participate, why go? And is there a way for us possibly, with this commission to have it more of a collaborative and maybe it's ex officio, I don't know, but where we could all kind of be here and have these discussions and it be more of kind of a collaborative approach, because I feel like we're telling them what to do and then they have to kind of live with it. And so it would be just helpful. So I don't know.
It's very difficult because when they're not showing up and we're making decisions on the timeline, that affects their schedules.
Yeah.
And that's my frustration is nobody wants, I get everybody's busy and everybody, but this is, it's kind of part of, I don't know if we have to maybe work on our contracts where it's mandatory. You have to be here. Show a representative, send a representative, send somebody. I mean, or there's going to be some sort of penalties. There has to be some sort of buy-in to this where they have to be here. We don't want to be forceful, but then when it's going to end up we are going to be making the decisions for you, and then you're going to come back and be very upset when we're interrupting your timeline.
Is there something? I feel like we're kind of getting off topic here, and so I worry that we're breaking something. But can we possibly agendize maybe this discussion for another meeting, just so that? Like I said, I don't want to break any. No, I don't want to break any rules
so
right now.
Put for the agenda of some sort of memo or something to go out beforehand. We have to send a memo out to them where it is mandatory for their one person attendance to give us an update, and that's a way we can. I mean, because it involves not just an update on the fields, but and their registration and vandalism and insurance, and I mean we have to have a representative here. So yes, if we can get something. I mean, and it's been difficult trying to get just emails because they change every year. And I think that's the tough thing is how do we, we're going to have to come down with something where because remember, it's nonprofits and everybody changes for the most part. You guys haven't changed forever, but that's why I know where to find you. So, but.
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts. One positive comment is that when we went through the parking lot design, both with the commission and, believe it or not, there was team participation. we gave them a couple dates, like, we are going to redesign your parking lot. Please come talk to us. And, you know, some of their requests were incorporated and some of your requests were incorporated in this current design, which is great. And then I think we just have to have, quote, a mandatory team management day. Maybe that's once every 6 months. I don't know. And just hope for the best. But to really publicize it a little bit better instead of just saying, please come. It's like, no, this is team. You know, this whole meeting is devoted to team management, and, you know, we want to hear from you. Like you're saying, it was great to hear from the Babe Ruth folks today. So I suggest we just do that a couple times a year, and I think hopefully that should work out. So
I think it's a great idea. And I think that, Babe Ruth is kind of, you have your own kind of field, and you guys are, I feel like, so sufficient. Some of the other leagues, they're sharing fields. And so when I spoke to Hollister Heat, Hollister Little League, and who else and the city of Hollister, and Parks and Rec. And it was very interesting, and they all had very different stories of what was going on and who's being charged what and how this works. And so I just think what an amazing opportunity to get everybody together and, like, let's figure this out, right? Like, there's enough room for all of us. Let's figure this out. And, you know, it's a wonderful park, and we're so fortunate to have it. And I think the leagues are so fortunate to be able to have these facilities that they don't have to pay for. And I know it's a lot to maintain. I do know that.
A lot of work.
And, but I think that if we can work together, we can keep it kind of the way that it is, but improve it. You know what I mean? But keep it affordable so that the kids in our community are able to participate in these leagues without having to pay. You know, some of these different sports programs that kids are paying to be a part of are crazy expensive. And I feel like Babe Ruth and Little League and Heat and all of those are still really affordable, and they're able to be affordable because of the access to the fields and stuff. I know umpires is getting to be a thing that is crazy expensive and causes things to go up, but I would hate to see it be a place where fields become something that we have to charge for, because that would dramatically impact. And so I don't want to go that route at all.
Right.
I just want to get to where we're getting participation. So I think it's a great idea that maybe they don't have to come to every single one, but at least every 6 months or quarter, whatever it is. And it's a lot. They are all volunteer boards. This is at the forefront of our minds all the time because we sit on this commission. They're a volunteer league. They're busy and they're concerned with running their leagues. So if we had maybe a yearly or a twice yearly max where it was like a check-in, where it's kind of, hey, we all meet, and maybe we do it at a different location where there's more of a round table and we can just kind of talk specifically about, you know, the items that are in front of us or whatever, rather than expecting them to come to every single meeting. You know what I mean?
Or just maybe have a commissioner assigned to each group. By that time,
but I feel like information gets lost. I feel if we could get a commitment for 1 or 2 meetings a year as kind of a check-in, I think it would help staff. I think it would help all of us. And I think it would really help the leagues. And I think everybody would feel like they were in the loop. I know what's going on. I don't know if that's achievable, but it seems like it should be. I don't know. Can I ask the league, like, that's here, would that be acceptable to you guys, having a meeting once or twice a year where you could just do a check-in?
In that aspect.
Okay.
That one event that it worked out that there was plenty of room for that to happen.
And that's,
If we were to get together, we know dates coming up, all right, you guys, all right, we got it, let's get it.
and I think by breaking it down to having one commissioner per league, so that if you have like a point of contact, like you would just contact me, I would be able to fill you in exactly what's going on. I think if we start something like that, then you know exactly who to contact. I think that would be huge, because then it's not one person contacting every league. We'll all always be up to date. And then if there's something that's not happening like somebody, we didn't get insurance or we didn't get something like that, then we would contact them. It breaks it down a little bit because we don't have staff to do that. So it would just be an email. quarterly? How's it going? Are you going to make the meeting? This is what's happening. Do you have any problems? It would just be that simple.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeable to that. I did a lot of outreach these last few months, so I'm totally agreeable to
And
that.
it would just be easy because it would just be one team.
And it's also, I think it's great for them to know that they have somebody.
They have
that
somebody
if
to
I have
contact.
a question, hey, what's going on with this or whatever it is, it would be great. No, I do have a question about one of the fields out there right now.
Of course, yeah. And one suggestion from our staff was, maybe when we send the invite out to the commissioners, we could just have a sort of a calendar status update of items, and we can send those out to the league managers as well. I think, does this meet every 2 or 3 months? I forget.
It's quarterly.
Every 3 months, yeah. So at least with the invite, we could send out that as well. But I like your idea to have a commissioner kind of assigned to a league. It's like that personal.
Because by then we will have, I know we'll have another commissioner, because I did speak with somebody from San Juan, and we will be having another commissioner there. And we'll be getting somebody, we'll have a full commission at that point. So it's going to be important. I think it's just so easy to have one person, because then if you're missing something, you would just contact us and then we would contact them. It's easy to handle one group.
Well, look, we have Hollister Heat here. No, thank you for being here.
You have a question about the field? A field, you said?
Oh, yeah. I just had a quick question on, so it would be Little League Field 4. It's going to be the City of Hollister's small softball field. And I know that Hollister Heat uses it as well. And I don't know the designation. But anyways, do you kind of know where I'm talking about? It's the field when you drive into the entrance, it's right there to the left. So kind of Heat is over here, Little League's over here. It's that one that's right here. And then the men's softball's here. So I believe it's a small softball field.
Yes, that's where the women play.
So there's a sign. So Hollister Heat is currently using that field.
Okay.
And there's a sign on the field that says field is closed from the city of Hollister.
Right.
And it's being used. Now, I don't know if it's not supposed to be being used, but it is being used. We're having games out there, and that sign is in the way. And so I kind of wonder, like, who authorized that you could just close a field? How does that work?
Without notifying the group that's using it, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to, I think,
Here, you want to come up? Sorry, we're kind of not being super.
I know.
We're being
But this is
today.
I know, but it's so important to be able to get some
Hi, my
information.
name's Gina Nadi. So what goes on with Vet Small, that's what it's called. That's through City Rec. City Rec rents it to whoever's interested in it. We have a contract right now. Starts September 1st, runs through August 31st for Tuesdays and Thursdays. When we want to use it, we have to call up, reserve, double check. The reason they have those signs up are probably because it was raining and they still didn't take it down. So that's a city rec thing that they need to take those signs down. They're in control of those fields. Also, Wednesday's open, so they let other people use it on Wednesday. And actually, that field's available for rent. I say rent, I don't know the exact terminology that they use, but they use it for, like you said, women's softball. Little League uses it during the Little League season on Saturdays. I don't know if Bay
For the little
uses
tiny
it.
ones.
And then it's typically safe open on Wednesdays for other youth organizations that play softball to reserve, because there's travel ball teams and whatnot, boys teams.
I guess I'm just asking that if somebody can reach out to the city of Hollister and ask that sign be taken down is really what I'm asking. So, I mean, I get it was raining, but it hasn't been raining quite
Yeah,
some time.
They're doing better on the field. They've started prepping it better and doing more maintenance out there, so that's been a good thing.
And again, I'd like to see it be a collaborative approach, right? Like we all need fields. Everybody needs fields. And so let's help each other and let's not make it more difficult.
Maybe we could reach out to the city because they have the keys to it. Like
Right.
we can't open it.
Exactly.
If
I
they
think
call
there's some
the
work
people-
that we need to do there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak on that.
Yeah.
'cause then we'll
And
get
so
you-
just I have a question for you. Do they charge you for the fields?
Yes. They charge us for to put the light, open the gates, because they have to have a person come and open the gates, and then lights, and then close the gates. So anybody that uses it is charged.
Interesting. Okay.
Thanks.
I did do some research into that because I was very bothered when I heard that.
Very bothered by that, too.
There was kind of an agreement that the county kind of gave them those fields to use, and the agreement was that they, I think, are paying the PG&E and the water out there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so they're paying for all of the PG&E and the water. So, you know, all of the lights for I don't know about Babe Ruth, I think for heat and Little League and all the water, the city of Hollister takes care of that. So it's kind of the trade-off. I was a little like, wait a minute. So there are definitely costs associated with that park that the city is taking on. And so I think it's a little bit of an offset for them. So I kind of did the same thing initially, like, whoa, wait, what do you mean?
Right.
But I think it was part of kind of the agreement that it was
Okay.
like, okay, we'll give you these fields, but you kind of make sure that you take care of the PG&E and the water. Am I correct in saying that?
You're correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a couple fields, and they also have the skate park, which we'll talk about in a second. But
Okay. Thank you.
all right, so should we go to
Yes, please. We can go to the next one, which
right.
back to the agenda.
Item 2C. Okay. Fencing repairs. Good news is, and I checked today, there were some bigger things going on with fences. They've been repaired around the park. The fabric the fencing fabric, as we call it, the chain link fabric, there are multiple locations where it's still sagging, but it's intact. But the gate areas, and then there's an area over by Briggs Building that got cleaned up. We don't have any budget to fix the sagging fabric. I'm not sure it's super urgent, in my humble opinion, but I'll just pause there for comments. But the bigger areas around a couple of the fences and entrances have been repaired per a few requests in the past.
So my only question is the skate park. There's an opening where it was cut, and who placed those big cement blocks in front of the hole?
Good question. I saw those. I don't think it was county staff. I'll say that much. I'd be very surprised. I can ask our parks person. I should have asked. I talked to City of Hollister's Parks and Rec person. So taking one step back, I'll reach out to the Parks and Rec person from the city and ask her to remove the sign that says ball closed, FY, or ball field closed. I'll also ask her about the concrete block that were put in near the skateboard park. I don't know the answer.
I mean, I understand why. It's because people are using the ramp and going into the street. I get that, but
Right.
they're really damaged. And it looks like they've been, I mean, if they're going to move them, they need to move them all the way over to where the hole is to prevent people from going. I mean, you can maybe climb through it, but so that a skateboarder can't go into the street. But it's not, I don't know what, and then there's been multiple times of somebody building a ramp, and it takes forever to remove it, which is dangerous because they're made of wood. I don't know who made them, but they're...
Have we identified, are we on 2D right now? Just trying to follow along.
I think there was a segue. I'll pause for the fencing if there's questions about the fencing, and then we can jump to.
Well, I was just, I
the
was going
fencing
to
is
ask
part of
I was going to ask if there was any information on the ownership of this skate park. Because I feel like that's kind of some of the questions, that's where some of these questions are leading, right?
But that's part of the fencing. That's the fencing that goes all the way up there.
Correct. Yeah. It's
I don't know.
correct. So, are we done with the fencing? I guess?
We're done with the pen. I mean, so the only thing was to make sure that to unlock that would be great. But it is the aesthetics of the field, and by even if we have it just looks like our field is at a shambles right now, having the bowing of the fencing. And it's the aesthetics of it. I'm sure it's just putting lipstick on it, but it's all perception.
If, let's just say we have that 70,000 left over in ARPA, there's a lot of different things we can do with it, but we'll be meeting in
Okay.
3 months, I guess. And if it's the will of the commission, we can use that 70,000 for the park, however, you three deem it appropriate, honestly. And fabric's not super expensive. I'm sure it could take care of, it's like you said, there's probably, I count about half a dozen spots where it's kind of bowing or sagging, just like you mentioned. And we could replace it if you direct us to do so.
Okay.
Sorry, I haven't even noticed it. There's been other things. So I will specifically go out there and look at it now because I don't know, tunnel vision, I don't know. But I think it's a good idea. Like, I'll look at it and maybe we could put it on as a future agenda item that if there is money left over or something, maybe we could replace. I get what you're saying. Like, it makes it look kind of not great. So I'll make sure I look at it the next time I'm out there, which will be tomorrow. And then if we can put it as a future agenda item to discuss, I think that would be great.
Agreed.
Sounds good. Should we go to public comment for 5C or 2C, excuse me?
Is there any public comment for 2C?
There is none in chambers or on Zoom.
Do I go 2D?
So yes, if we can go to 2D. I just, yeah, just
Okay.
go to 2D.
We'll go over to 2D.
Just roll right in, yeah.
Skateboard park, safety issues, ownership remedies. So yes, actually Supervisor Zanger is correct. The county owns essentially all the property. The city leases 2 of the ball fields, as was mentioned earlier, as well as the skateboard park. So technically they're responsible for maintenance and anything that goes on within the skateboard park via the lease they have with the county. As the property owner, we can tell them, ABC if things aren't, I don't know if they're out of compliance with their lease, but we can give them direction, but they essentially maintain that area, I'll say, so, per their lease.
So fencing, I don't think is included because we don't ask them to fix their fencing. So that would be, I think that's on us because we don't ask any other groups to fix their fencing.
If I can remember correctly, like when I was part of Little League, they would do all of their fencing.
I'll look into the lease,
Okay.
and see.
Because I don't remember seeing anything about fencing in any of the leases, and I've gone through those leases. I've never seen anything.
It might be one kind of those unwritten that it's like, hey, this belongs to you. You should be taking care of it. It kind of is your space. So there would be this expectation that it's kept up in good condition, right? So can I just ask a quick, do you mind if I ask
Please,
a question?
please.
You don't by chance know the lease,
Know the lease?
like the amount?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I was
What are
trying
they
to.
leasing that's
Pardon me?
for?
Pardon me?
So what are they leasing it for?
The amount, I don't know the amount.
Okay.
So,
Usually all of these areas it's for just maintaining it. There's usually no fees.
Like a
yeah, for
dollar thing.
It's just like we don't expect Babe Ruth, Hollister Heat. I don't think they're.
yeah, I can tell you for the
Nobody-
ball fields, it's 0. I don't know.
zero.
I've seen bits and pieces of the skateboard park lease. I haven't found the whole document yet. I'll ask the city for it.
Yeah, because when I looked at the lease and kind of the whole ordinance of when kind of it all changed and everything, it was specific to the ball fields. The skate park is relatively new, and that's why I was
agree.
curious. They are completely separate.
Agreed.
And so that's why I was just curious what the specifics were with this lease, so that we could see maintenance and all those things.
And I'll forward a copy to the commission as soon as I get a full copy of it. So
Thank
we'll all
you.
have it.
So we have a historian here. Mr. St. John, do you remember when that came about? Because it was way before me. No? Okay. Yeah, because it was already in existence when I became on the commission. So,
Is there a way there might already be this, but is there like a little plaque or something out there, or like a sign that says for issues or whatever, call City of Hollister for specifically, I'm talking just skateboard park, so that if if somebody's out there and something happens and they've got an issue or a claim or a whatever it is, that they're calling the right place, that we're directing them, we make it easier for them.
And would that go in effect for each of the organizations, though?
No, because I think that the county ultimately is still responsible for some of these other.
They hold their insurance, though. They give us the insurance, and they're
Yeah, but I feel like then you're getting too specific,
Okay.
and like
just
I think some of them are closed, like the Little League area, I believe, is closed. Heat is going to be closed and kind of locked. So I would just think that's kind of,
I see.
you're not really using those fields unless you're with those organizations, essentially. I'm just thinking the skateboard park is open to the community. Those fields, I'm sure people go out there that are not supposed to be using the fields, but those fields are not open to the public per se. They're open to that league, whereas the skateboard park is different. The skateboard park is open to the entire community. So if there was an issue,
So would that go to Tremors as well, because that's open to the community?
no, it's a league.
But they
It's
maintain
the same
it,
as Babe Ruth. It's the same as Heat.
but those gates, it's not locked.
But neither are Heat, really. You could get onto the Heat field. Little League is locked.
Okay.
I know Little League is. Is Babe Ruth locked? You guys are locked too, aren't you?
The actual field is locked.
The field is what I'm talking about.
Itself is locked, but like literally has a gate to their grounds. Like,
Right.
That's locked.
And that's newer. That has not always been
I just
there.
know that that's going to be a question. It's like, well, if you're, I just want to clarify that we know that, because Tremors, that would be fair because everybody uses that field. It's open every weekend for everybody. And so if we're going to have a sign, I just want to know that might be brought
So
up
if
too.
I wanted to go out there and play soccer with my family, it's open to
It's
me.
open. People go out there and walk their dogs all the time.
So what I would suggest is that at the fence, maybe there's for the Vets Park as a whole, it's the Vets Park Commission, right? Which is made up of the Board of Supervisors and the VFW and the Auxiliary and the San Juan VFW.
And
right?
the American Legion, not
The American Legion.
Yes.
Legion, sorry. So here's a phone number if you have an issue or something like that. I'm talking, and so maybe there's two different signs. This is kind of all of Vets Park. Here's who you would call for this. For the skate park, that's different. We really
Right,
don't have
right.
anything to do
You're right.
with the skate park.
You're right. Okay.
I'm just trying to designate the difference. And I know that there's a lot of leagues, but I don't want to complicate it. I'm trying to make this as easy as we can. But it seems like there are more complaints and issues with the skate park than anything else
Right.
out in that area.
Yeah, so we'll add a sign on the entrance, maybe a couple at the skateboard park, to call the city's Parks and Rec. And then for the soccer fields, Tremors, so I'm clear, do you want, call code enforcement for County of San Benito on the soccer fields with issues or that type of thing?
Do we need a separate sign for the, I thought we were just talking about the skate park sign. We want a
That's
separate
all I
sign
wanted
for
was a
each-
skate park, but Maria was asking about the other one. So I'm saying if we've got to do, if we want to address both, then you would just do the two.
Right. I'm not trying to make it complicated, but I just know that if that's the thing is that I know Tremor has always had an issue that people are always out there. Is there going to be is there signage that we have to do to say that they're responsible or San Benito County is responsible because it's open to the public? I mean, if you said that
I think every league is responsible for their fields and how they choose to kind of what they choose to do. So if Tremors wants to put a sign saying this is the field of the Hollister Tremors, I think that's up to them. But I don't think we should be going and putting any signs out there saying.
I'm sorry, I'm
belongs to the
just thinking
county.
about liability wise. If there's a problem, if there's an issue, if somebody goes out there and messes with one of the goals and puts it upside down, is that going to be, how are they going to contact anybody? Are they going to, who?
Well, Hollister Tremors could contact somebody from this commission or, you know what I mean? Like if we all have a league that we're working with, Hollister Tremors would be a
Okay.
part of that. So they'll know, they would contact one of us and
Okay.
say, hey, and then we can help direct them to the right person and however. Is that Hollister Tremors, they're part of the whole Vets Park family, right?
Yes.
So, I think let's not treat it any differently.
Okay.
I think they'll just be one that we assign a commissioner to.
Okay. I just know these were going to be questions because it's open to the public from the city. So I'm just trying to think, because we rarely meet. And so when somebody asks me a question, I'm going to be able to say, I'll have the phone number for you right over there.
I think Vets Park is kind of all together except for the skate park.
Except for the skate park and the
is
softball fields.
separated.
And the city.
No, but even the city softball fields, like, I'm not even excluding them. Like, they're part of the Vets Park family. I'm saying that the skate park is the only thing that's different within that. And that's why I said
a separate list.
and because it's treated very differently.
Okay.
The city of Hollister runs their fields that they have and that they maintain. They run those like a league, right? It's Parks and Rec. Or if another group wants to use it, they go through them. All I'm saying is that the skate park is completely different. There's nobody in charge of the skate park. There's no league for anybody to go to. That's why I suggested a sign at the skate park.
I understand.
Does that
Okay.
kind of make?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Sounds good.
So you'll just be contacting City of Hollister, or the City Rec, about the fencing, about the blocks, about.
I'll try to, regarding the blocks, I'll look at the lease, but yeah, first I'm going to find the whole lease, the whole document, and then I'll reach out to the city about the blocks. And very least, like you said, they could be better placed, I guess you'd say. So, yeah.
And if you can send those, because I don't think I've ever seen the city lease for, it was never sent to me. So if you can send that, I'd appreciate it.
You bet.
So. Okay, so that is, we'll just have Commissioner, I know we didn't have Gina here before for Hollister Heat. Do you mind if we bring her back up so that she can give a report? Do you mind? Could you give us a report about what's going on with you guys? We missed you. I just want to make sure to include you.
Listening, but I was driving. My name's Gina Nadi. I'm the vice president at Hollister Heat. We're currently doing 3 seasons. We implemented a fall season starting September 1st last year, which went really well. So from September 1st through October 31st is our fall season. Then we take a break. We start up again in February. February 1st, we start having more activity out there. Our season starts March 1st for our spring, runs March through the end of May. And right now, currently, we're doing our summer season, which started on the 17th of June, and it'll run to the end of July. So we'll have August off, where we'll start getting, not enrollment, what's the right word? Signups.
Signups, registration.
Yeah, signups, registration, signups. So currently we have 160 girls playing right now in our summer leagues. We play Monday through Friday. We're growing. Fall, I expect probably to hit 200. We opened up, we used to just do 8 to 11, and we found a need where the girls that were kind of falling through the loops, like not making that high school team, wanting to keep playing, but not at that next level. So we opened it up to our majors, and we have 6 major teams now that play summer, six majors, which is 12 to 14. And so we have 2 games going on tonight. So they play Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In fall, we anticipate maybe 8 major teams.
Wow.
And so, yeah, Heat's doing really well. We keep our fields, not our fields that we play on. We have 2 fields. We lock those, but we have the playground area, the snack shack, all that's open. And it's my goal to keep it open so that people can walk around the back. You can't beat the sunset out there. So if you guys ever get bored and want to catch a game, go check it out. It's pretty cool. Can I say something about the skate park?
Well, it's kind of, we didn't do a public comment. We can go back to, finish your report, and then we'll take
What else
public
do you
comment.
need to know
we
about
did.
Heat? 'Cause
So just any vandalism, anything that
we do have
we need to be
vandalism.
concerned about? Or?
They tag, and then I paint. We have a really good group of field guys, and we have more people on our board now helping out. So
Awesome.
we're jamming.
Very good. And so when do this election cycles happen? And is that staying?
August.
August, okay.
Right.
Just so that I can remember, because I always forget.
And you guys are welcome to come to our meetings. They're posted on our Heat website. So everybody's encouraged to come. Any ideas are welcomed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we didn't open up to public comment about the skate park. Can we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
It's a positive thing.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't do that. We did it for everything else. But
I was waiting for it, but
Yeah.
so City Rec paints out there the graffiti, and that's their area. It doesn't get any attention. That's why there's a lot of problems out there. Kids that typically skate, they do their thing, right? But I mean, I'm all for if you make it nicer, like include those guys. I've been out there and I'm like, hey man, what about a mural? Will you guys like design it? If you let them be a part of it and be a part of creating it, then guess what? They're not going to tag the concrete, and then city's not going to have to go out there and paint over it because it's their park. And right now it's, I don't know how to say this the right way, but it's like no one cares about it, therefore they take no ownership of it. You have young parents coming in with their little ones. You're always going to have those teenagers, right? But there's a place for them. There has to be a place for them. And in other cities, there's huge bike parks. And I know we're getting ours and we're on the move of it, but right now that's really the only place that those skaters get to go. And it might not be for you, it might not be for other people, but it's their jam, and I think we need to support that and clean it up. I mean, there's lights out there, but they don't turn the lights on. And I know they say, oh, well, then bad things happen. We got people drinking in the parking lot by the heat field and stuff like that too. So, I mean, pot can't call the kettle black, you know? So I think they're part of our family too, because all the kids in our community are part of our family. We just need to maybe work with the city on how we can help get that area cleaned up. Because if you clean it up, like Dunn Park, when we cleaned it up, guess what? More families came in. We just allowed them to go down again, and we have to work together to keep cleaning everything up. So, Dunn Park's another story. But
Yeah.
any more questions?
Nope.
All right,
That's
thanks,
it.
guys.
Thank you.
Is
Yes.
that it with?
Yeah, so I think my comment was saying that it was different is definitely not just to discredit it and say that it's not important. I think it's really important. And I think that's part of the reason for having the signage, because I think people should, if there are things that are happening, it's important so that we can fix them, right? The right body. This is not the right body to fix it. We don't have any jurisdiction over that per se. That is, that is ran by the city. And so I want to make sure that the city knows how important it is, right? And so that as there are things that, if there's rips and I think the main concerns I have is not as much the graffiti as I have the safety issues that are out there, right? So when I was saying that there's a number for people to call, is that there's a hole in the fence or that something is out of, sorts, and the safety issues are of utmost importance. And that's why I want a phone number and a sign there so that people have that information and we can get those things taken care of immediately rather than, well, I don't know who has it. Is it the county? Is it the city? Is it what, And so I want it to just let's make sure that safety of the utmost importance, because I agree with you. Every single person is very important. And whether they're playing softball or baseball or they're out there skating, we want our youth to be safe and healthy. And we want them to have positive experiences. And so anything that we can do to help and kind of promote that, I'm all for that. So that was kind of, I just wanted to give you a little bit of reasoning because it kind of sounded like maybe there was some thoughts that I was going really negative, like, oh, they don't matter. And it's like, that's actually opposite of why I'm saying what I'm saying, because they absolutely do matter and we absolutely have to take care of these concerns. But it's not something that I feel like the issues, I can't send out county code enforcement for that. That's a city thing. So when people know the right place to go and things can get reported in a timely fashion, we're able to, fix those things. I think a lot of times we get complaints all the time as supervisors, and it's like, we'll call it in right away and it gets fixed immediately. A lot of times things go unnoticed and nobody says anything. But if you do, a lot of times, we've found that we're on it and we're able to take care of things, and staff is very responsive. So I just want people to know where to go for help. So that's it. Sorry, very long-winded.
Minnie does not hate skaters, right? That's the moral.
So I know at one point when we were out there, we did a tour, we were talking with some of the skaters. They had concerns, and I see what you're saying about having them have a vested interest, because one of the complaints was they were using latex paint and to cover up the graffiti. Well, latex paint is slippery and was causing more injuries. And so maybe it would be important to talk to the city to maybe engage with the youth to see what's going on and why they keep cutting the fence. And it's the reason is because, and they keep adding on all of these additional ramps and all these things, is because they want it updated. They want it. So I really think engaging with the youth is going to be important, because there's a huge need for it being in the center of town. Obviously, people are using it, but I don't think they're just going out there and cleaning it, but they're not asking why. The drainage is a huge thing for me too, because if it's supposed to be sandblasted every once in a while and to remove some of that paint, but with doing that, there's things that clog the drain. So when we have a rainy season, somebody's going to drown. If a kid, God forbid something like that happens. But there's things, but those are the things that if we engage with the youth and tell them, tell us, what are you thinking? They were very forthcoming about what, and we had an individual here talking about the skate park and how he wanted to help, and that kind of went by the wayside. He works for Pacific Scientific, I believe, and wanted to invest in some money, wanted to help the youth in the committee, but where had, was he kind of, if it's not a county thing, why have we not taken them up on the offer? There's just, it's just maybe when you talk with them, do we have can we go out and invite the kids to go to a city parks meeting and tell them their complaints and their concerns about safety? Because safety is huge when they're slipping on their skateboards because they can't get traction.
Yeah, of course. Whenever any of us are out there, we can invite them to this next meeting. And I think perhaps, I don't know how it was communicated to the city, but when I spoke to the city's park manager, she actually mentioned that they are now, because of what you just mentioned, changing the paint mix. I guess the trickier part for them is, there's so many layers of paint that eventually you're going to get down to kind of a latex layer. But nevertheless, they are actually changing to a different type of paint has a little more abrasion to it, because maybe they heard you or some of the folks out there. So a little bit of communication there. But yeah, whenever I'm out there next time, and if there's any skaters, I'll invite them to our next.
The suggestion box might be more effective, because we can't get adults at our meeting. I don't know if the skaters are going to skate on over here and hang out at the meeting. I don't know. I'm doubtful.
But you'd be surprised. We would tell them about the meetings, and they're like, when is it? When is it? And it's, if we could pass out a flyer, tell us about, have something out there for them to know about it. They'll bring their parents, because they are passionate about their park, and it's just, it's like the feeling of the rest of the groups feeling a little bit hopeless. It's like, we don't have, it's your home.
Take care of it. You come back to it every day. You can't go to the meeting and tell them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And they would have a vested interest. So if that's the thing is maybe, for the next meeting, maybe we could go and have put that on the agenda, and then we'll go pass out flyers. Please come and talk to us and tell us. And if they don't show up, they don't show up, but at least we gave them the opportunity. If anybody wanted to speak on this, we'll open it up just for 2 more comments, but if you can come up here so that we have it documented. So I know you guys, did you have anything else to say? Yeah.
Really quick, there's older ones too, so that's part of the problem. There's the young ones that come out with their mom, there's the teens, and then you have the 30-year-old ones that need a place to skate too. So everybody's at a different level. What I suggest, instead of flyers, I get that, but maybe a QR code, put it up there, boom, they hit it with their phone, they can just shoot a message and, give their thoughts, then you can see how many people are gonna, if there's any of those guys gonna be interested in it or not, and then it saves that. So just laminated QR code, hey, we want your input, whatnot.
Nice.
Boom, super easy.
That's a good
All right,
idea.
I'm done talking tonight.
Yes, go ahead.
Steve, I've got a quick question. What is our jurisdiction over the skate park? I feel like we're asking them to come give us feedback and all this, but I feel like it'd be like asking the people of Babe Ruth or Hollister Heat to, hey, come give us feedback about your league in a way. They need to be going to the city council meetings and addressing their concerns, because that's who runs this.
Right,
And that's why I
right.
kept saying, like, it's all part of kind of Vets Park, but it's very different as far as where who's taking care of it. That is the city of Hollister's area. Like, we have, yes, it's part of Vets Park, but that is a specific area that is the city of Hollister. We do not have jurisdiction over that to put money into. I mean, I guess we could, but that is a city
So,
park. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
so I
thank
kind
you.
of like a suggestion box. Can you suggest to the city to put a suggestion box?
You have them do their job, please.
Could you suggest that, or like put a QR code if there's any concerns?
When I speak-
really like that idea, because the kids, and the QR code is an amazing thing because that's their thing. I don't know how to do that, but these kids that are using that park would be a good, maybe suggest it to them.
Well, how about this as a suggestion?
A suggestion.
We have our own sign person that makes signs. He does a great job. I can work with a city parks person, and we already have materials. It doesn't cost anything extra. We have the sign materials out our yard. We can work together with the city to make a sign and put a QR code on the sign. We'll need them to help, with that. And I suggest, without really causing any extra cost to anybody, we can coordinate the sign with the city. And you're right, the QR code comment should go to the Parks and Recs
Goes to them,
department,
yeah.
so.
I like that. And then that will take us out of the picture, but then it'll give them accurate feedback, because the kids are, when they're behind their phone, they'll use their phone to say, oh, this is what's wrong. So, no, I like the idea. So, but, okay, so that's it for the skate park, right? Anybody else? We're good? We're good? Okay. So I think that's it. So we're going to do commissioner's report. Is there any commissioner reports? So you spoke to the different groups.
Yeah, I spoke to Hollister Heat, I spoke to Hollister Little League, and I spoke to the city of Hollister, Tina Garza. And so I spoke to all of them. I really was kind of letting them know about the different park upgrades that we're going to be doing, and hopefully coming to more of the meetings and all of that. And so, yes, I did speak to those three.
Okay, and I spoke with Babe Ruth and the Tremors. So I just wanted to, we did what we said we were going to do. And so we did that part. And so we'll just have to, and then is there any future agenda items from this point?
Well, just the future agenda item that I mentioned earlier regarding kind of agendizing the discussion we were having, that we were kind of going a little off topic on.
I know.
So that's it.
I know, sorry.
That's it. But besides that, I think this is great. Obviously, construction, I want to know the status of. So I think this should stay on as an agenda item, bathroom upgrades and parking lot, until we get it completed.
Until it's completed, right?
I noted a couple of future agenda items, one including to add an item on the food vendor policy. And then I don't know if it needs to be a separate item or just adding to the item, and agendizing that the leagues come and it be twice a year. And then also a specific item to the funding and reallocating if there's leftover funding to the fencing.
So I'd also like an update on what's going on in that shed area. It looks very hazardous in front of Hollister Little League. Because I saw
The shed
kids on.
down near Memorial?
Yes,
That's
because I saw kids on top of the roof, and I'm worried.
Okay. Noted.
I'm afraid somebody's going to fall in because I don't know the status. I was just wondering. So if that could just, what's in there? Is it if somebody falls in, what's in there? You know, is it being utilized? Is it something that's hazardous? So that would be a future agenda items. That's the only thing I would request. So. And that's it. And there's large equipment. Is that usable equipment? Is that something that we use, or is it just a graveyard for big equipment? So, but that's it. So, anything else? So I need a motion to,
Move to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Being here.
Yes, thank you, guys. I appreciate you. And I know sometimes it's very difficult because we are all over the